Okay, it's the fantasy holds and sells video. Kalyn Ponga is going to kick us off, and if I did forget anyone in this, you can complain next week when I'm at home. I'm on holiday, so give me a break. But Ponga at 606k, he's priced at 45 now. Can we see Ponga averaging 45 or above for at least the next 4 weeks until Origin comes around? Because it's very likely that he does play Origin. Yes, but he hasn't hit anywhere near 45 in the last 4 weeks. So that's definitely a worry for him. But if you do look at him, he started the year perfectly well. And you look across his career at fullback, the only time he goes really low is when there's some type of injury. In 2024, he did hit a 30, but it was, one in there. We had a 36 at the back end of 24 as well. And then you're looking at a 17 against the Panthers in 2023. We see a 6 against the Sharks in 80 minutes and a 23 and 69 with the try. So he can have low little stretches, but then he usually comes good. We can see here in 2022 he had a bit of a tough time, but the last 3 years is what we need to be looking at, and we see a lot of good scores from him. If I was an owner of Ponga, which I am in Supercoach, but not in Fantasy, I would personally be holding on to him. And you can understand why there's 20% of the top 100 still have him, and that's really impressive. 32 of the 1,000, 44 of the 5,000, because he hasn't scored super well and he costs a lot of money, right? But you need to think of it from here onwards. And I think someone priced at 45 in a position that isn't great at the moment, there's not a lot of guys absolutely smashing it, then I think Ponga is a hold. You can decide what you want to do with it, but a 606k, if it was 700 or so, if it was last week or the week before, when some people did sell, then completely fair enough. Rob Toya at 446k. Some people are selling him. I just looked at the sheet there, and he picked up a 27 2 weeks ago. Got his first try of the year, thank goodness, for that line break as well. And he gets a new teammate in Nwangani Tuaze next to him, which I think will be fun. And this week especially, this week and the following week has really tough oppositions himself in Valentine Holmes and Farnworth. And then it's a bye, but he does play round 13 against the Sharks, who should be pretty strong as well. So Rob Toya is one of those guys I think you can easily hold, you can easily sell as well. And I don't think you'll get too burnt. He's priced at the 33 mark, averaging 39.3, which is pretty wild. It's just because that first score was the 61. If he had that sort of 2 or 3 weeks ago, then we'd probably see him up higher, around that 470, 480 and closer to that number. But if he does continue hitting 41s and 39s, then he will get up another 50 to sort of 100k there, which would be helpful. So I think either way, Rob Toya can be held, can be sold, not a problem. If you don't feel like you're going to have him as a starter in round 12, then you could sell now, you can sell in round 10 very, very easily for both of those counts. Tom Jenkins had those really good scores, and I owned him for 53, which was great. The 42 there, and then we had 28 and 20. So it's gone downhill over the last few weeks, but he just hasn't had any attacking stats. We didn't have any attacking stats last week. The meters gained at centre were awesome, and then when he got a couple of line breaks at wing in round 5. Jenkins is definitely a guy that you can sell at 388k. Is he needed more in your wing fullback than Rob Toya is in the centres for you? He might be. You just need to make that decision yourself. And people are down in this section, Kautoga, all in that sort of high 300s to mid 400s price. You can personally decide who you think is going to last the longest in your team, and if you're confident in playing them on a week-to-week basis. At the moment, Jenkins is not, but he was before that. Manly, Broncos, Cowboys the next few. Rob Toya spoke about his matchups as well. So, yeah, it's just going to depend on if you need him as a wing fullback this week or if you don't, and is his price point at 388 enough cash for you to get up to someone else more important to you. Stafford Toa, 512, and the first time we've had to speak about him, because a lot of people just haven't been playing him. I'm like, wow, he's just continuing to dominate. And the weekend was the first point where it's like, oh, it could be a little bit tougher for him unless he's getting the big attacking stats, which he's had. He's already got 5 tries in the 6 games that he has played. He also has 4 try assists and 4 line breaks, which is great. Defending generally pretty well. His highest missed tackles of 3. His lowest tackles made on the weekend as well, which we saw sort of to the edges was a bit rough with Kautoga not getting too much on his side as well defensively. Meters gained was still okay. So overall, I think he's completely fine. Like, he's priced at 38, he's averaging 45. The break even is 33. So he's definitely not someone that sticks out as a must sell or anything like that. But when you look at him at 5.12, when he's got the Sharks this week, Dragons into Melbourne, before he misses round 12 and 15, with Penrith in there as well, wedged in, I think he's someone that over the next bunch of weeks could easily be sold. And he's someone that I will tinker with that price point of 5.12, what I can get out of him. Yeah, it's really, really exciting to know that we've got 260k out of him. I know I'm excited by that. So he's definitely someone that could be on that list. We'll see how we go. With Stafford, your decision, can he keep up the attack? We know centres can be a bit hit and miss for attacking stats, and we saw Herbie Farnworth, I think, get his second try of the year on the weekend, and he's an absolute jet. I think Stafford needs the attacking stats to continue in the mid-40s. Now, Kautoga, that 16 does kill his money making for a little bit. The question is, though, again, at price at 33, came into this week at 31, and it was like, well, he's hitting 40s pretty comfortably. The 38 in there, tackle numbers have just, fell off this week here. But the other week that he had low tackle numbers, he had offloads, he had a try and a line break, forced drop out. He had a few different things that he didn't have on the weekend, which, because he had the 4 missed tackles that week as well. But meters gained in general are very low, and that's my frustrating one. The 57 last week, he just did so easily. They ran it in plenty. So he's definitely someone that could be on the chopping block for you. If you bought a while ago, then happy days. You've made plenty of cash. Me buying the week just gone, it becomes a little bit more frustrating. But you do have to see it as face value. And do you think he can average 40 or more over the next period of time? Are you happy with playing him in round 12? He'll probably be a sell following that. Like, there's a few things you look back now and you go, oh, if he just knocked out the 40s, then it'd be sweet. He'd make heaps of cash and he'd be happy days. But when he can drop low scores, that's when it makes you think that a little bit more. So, can be held, can be sold, no problem. Hubner. He's in a slightly different situation. It's closer to the Stafford Toa one, given the bye situation in round 12. But he then plays all the other important ones. So Hubner, priced at 32, you take out this 23 and he's a 40 plus guy, which is very, very helpful. If you're looking at season 2025, you just filter out the less than 20 minutes. And he's averaging 43 in 55 minutes, which priced at 32 is definitely not a sell. And he can be used as a looper this week. He's going to be a little bit safer than some of the other guys, but we probably have a lot of mids in our side too. So if you do want to sell with the slightly higher break even, then that's fine. But just be aware that if he continues hitting 43, it's just an extra week or so of it taking a little bit longer to get your cash gains. So with him missing this week, is Newcastle, Broncos and Tigers, is that enough for you to get your cash gains still and get him up near 500 before you might consider moving in round 12? Or does he make it through round 12 for you? The other questions to ask, because he's done really well. Tamale. This 55 really helps him. The break-even's 23 because it includes the 21 in that rolling average. So when that 21 drops out over the next few weeks, he starts coming into some tougher matchups. So Dolphins could be fairly tough this week, but generally will be okay. You've got Melbourne and Canterbury then. So he's definitely a guy that you could probably make it all the way to round 12 with. How much further does he make it in your side, though? That's the question. The lower break-even means you can get away with it this week. You can play him this week. If you want to sell, though, again, at that price point of 461, then that's understandable as well. He plays the minor bye. He plays the third major, but are you going to get that far with him? Iongi, 413k, and hopefully this is all helping you and make sense with the people in the best buyers section as to who you might want to purchase using these guys in this 400 odd K price point. Iongi, he got a 38 in the weekend with his first double, which is really cool. A line break in there, 5 tackle breaks, 135 run meters, did have the sin bin. So expecting mid-40s with a double in a game that was a bit weird. He seems like a hold. Comes up against a DCE-less Manly, potentially turbo-less in round 12, but you got to get through this bye this week, which is fine to loop. Then it's Cronulla, Dolphins, Newcastle, into Manly, into Penrith. So generally it's okay. I think with Iongi, you're probably holding up and up through that round 12 bye, and unless the Eels are really cranking it up, then he's probably a sell somewhere around that point. So for now, that 38 really helps his break even after that 18 with the 24 or whatever it is now, and yeah, hold for now. Don't have to sell, but just keep him on high alert. Jermaine Hopgood at 661, priced at 49. He did hit 49 on the weekend. And it's coming off 37 and 38, and the minutes at 38 was so low. So I understand selling him this week. He does play round 12, but is he going to be in Origin? Do you want to wait that long? I feel like if things are working out, we could buy back again, but then again, he misses 15 and 18 as well anyway. So it might just be one to cut your losses. Hasn't been too much on the losses side. It's 80 odd K and he's averaging 49. So it's not terrible, but you definitely wanted more. And there's guys out there, some people saying Hopgood to couch and stuff like that. It's just a clear upgrade at the moment, unfortunately. Thomas Cant, he is a 629K and has had a cracking start to his, to be fair, he's had a few games over the years, but it's a great start to his career this year. A lower score of 50 where he played majority in the centres. Tackles his butt off. He's had 3 games of 50 tackles or more, which is just incredible. And keep an eye out for Dylan Lucas. I think this week, if there's late mail about him potentially missing, then that's when Cant is a great hold. Otherwise, I do have him and peg him as a pretty good sell this week. Yeah, we should expect some minutes through the middle, but is it enough? And will it be enough going forward? No. So that's when you can sell at a really good price. Adam Doueihi, if you bought this week, you're pretty frustrated, and coming off a 28, a 27, a 28, and then the 38 at half, we've seen his lower scores at centre. And the wild thing is, he got his first try of the year in round 6 at centre, and because Stafford has been getting all the love on that other side, apart from the 3 assists that he has delivered there. If he's just a centre, unfortunately, the average of 37 is basically a tick over where he's priced at. So there's no rush to sell him, but he's also a guy that is probably not going to get the halfback spot back now that we've lost it early, and then he's not going to help you too much at centre, so it can easily be sold there straight away. Don't stress about it too much. Similar to Kautoga, you just sell it and move on. Sandon Smith, 427k, priced at 32. He's averaging 36.6, so there's no clear rush for him. You could definitely use him in round 12. Round 10, they have the bye. It's not a terrible run of games against, Cronulla is going to be a bit tough in round 12 with a few Origin guys out. Well, to be fair, majority of their Origin guys are, like with Collins, is actually injured at the moment, but Sandon's been fine. He's gone 46, 34, 33 the last 3. Just the one try assist in that time. Good tackle numbers. Bit of kicking since Savala's been in there, so he's generally been fine. He could easily be sold as well, and Savala is an option. Sandon to Savala, I think, will be done a decent amount this week. And at 230k, getting yourself 200k to do other moves makes a lot of sense, and could score similarly, to be fair, with the tackling and with the kicking in general play for Savala. So Sandon could be sold. Sorry guys, dealing with this cough for like a week or so now. It's annoying. Munster, 578. 3 players left, guys. In this one, priced at 43. Thankfully for owners of him, he picked up, I think they dropped like 3 missed tackles off him. Got 44 points in that last game compared to the 37 we were speaking about. Comes up against Rabbitohs, Canberra, and Tigers the next 3, so I think can be easily held. Priced at 43, averaging 44. It's completely fine, but we know that you'd be selling him coming into the Origin buy period anyway. So either way is fine. I do think Rabbitohs this week will be a really solid hit out for him. If you have other fires, if you have whatever else you need to do, then sweet. But if you want to use his cash as an upgrade, then that works as well. Olakau'atu, he is priced at 45 now, averaging 45, so there's no clear need to sell. I don't think he makes Origin either, so given the Manly really good draw, he plays all 3 major buys in that edge position, which is cool. But we see there the 69 in round 1 really propping him up with a 59 in round 5. It's been 30 and 40 last 2. He's had a 27, a 49, a 44. He needs to step that up. You know, his missed tackles have been horrendous, apart from last week, thank goodness. But he's still only lobbed out of 40 with 3 errors in his game. It's been a long time since he scored a try. A couple of weeks now since he's had a line break or an assist. So I think Olakau'atu is due. In saying that, it is against Penrith, and there's only a small percentage that own him, but probably a bit more owned in Supercoach. You can do what you like. And then Tom Starling to finish this off. Again, lower ownership. Put him at the end of the video when they're lower owned, but 42 is priced out, averaging 46. I think that, you know, the average is coming from a couple of those games at the start of the year. He still is playing good minutes over the last 2, 64 and 62. I'm backing him to get an attacking stat or so over the, you know, this week, and I think he could be an easy hold. An easy hooker you could use for round 12 as well. Simple one, can be sold, can be held, but I think probably leaning more to the hold side if you are a Tom Starling owner. Thanks so much for the holds and the sells video, guys. I hope you have found the best buys video. It's been an absolute hit the last bunch of weeks, so thank you to everyone for tuning into all this stuff. If you haven't looked into the private group stuff, I've dropped it all back a few dollars again. $30 for the rest of the season now. Includes Big Bash and NBL and all that stuff at the end of the year as well, which is good fun. So come along, join the crew. There's like 380 of us now, which is incredible. Thank you so much for everyone that's joined in. Thanks so much for watching and listening to my content, and I can't wait to see you in my final thoughts video, which I don't think I'll be able to get my trades video out, given I'll be flying from Monday morning and arriving in Sydney Thursday night just before the games. So just be a general thoughts on the week ahead. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.